Thank you, Joshua. And thanks, Jim, for putting this together. I want to introduce someone who's sitting there working my camera. This is Jeff Quinton. This guy right here with the kind of crew cut and the gray sweatshirt is Jeff Quinton, who was a pioneering blogger back in the day. And you've never heard of him, but he's been linked by Instapundit, linked by Michelle Malkin, and a lot of people don't know who Jeff is, but Jeff is important, and that's one of the things is you don't have to be famous. You don't have to be rich. What you do in new media is who you are. Okay, it's what you put out there. Now, I blog, as Jim told you, at theothermccain.com, and I'm also a correspondent for The American Spectator, which is online at spectator.org. And I have been a journalist since 1986. I started at a 6,000 circulation weekly paper in Austell, Georgia, and worked for about 10 years, a little more than 10 years, working my way kind of up the food chain of small newspapers in Georgia, and then in 1997 was hired as an assistant national editor for the Washington Times. And I did 10 years at the Washington Times, and there's an old doggerel from World War II, if you're familiar with this. Back in World War II, there were various versions of this small poem, but it always ended the same basic way. And when I get to heaven, St. Peter I will tell, another Marine from Iwo, sir, I've served my time in hell. And if I ever write a book about my experiences at the Washington Times, it will be called I've Served My Time in Hell. Now, so I quit my job in January 2008 because I had a freelance assignment in Uganda. And so when I got back from Uganda, I had a job offer that turned out to be not quite the kind of job offer I was looking for. I had already been freelancing for the American Spectator, and so I said, okay, I'll do that. And in the meantime, I'll start a blog. I had already kind of created it out there, and I started just blogging, waiting for my next job to come along. And guess what? My job is my blog now, okay? I mean, I make more money from my blog than I do as a freelance correspondent for the American Spectator. So that gives you an idea of where I come from, how I came to this. I came to blogging as a journalist. But back when I was a journalist, I was looking at what the bloggers were doing out there and going, wow, that looks like fun. That just looks like so much fun to be your own boss and do your own thing. And the great fun of it, the great glory of it, the money is kind of a different situation. So most bloggers are part-timers. They have, Jimmy here has a full-time day job and manages to squeeze in what he does in new media around that, and a lot of other people do that. One of my slogans is, journalism is not rocket science. Okay? The professional media establishment wants you to have the idea that what they're doing is something special that you don't know how to do. There is no such, anything is a skill. Okay, a skill can be learned as opposed to a talent. Okay, I'm never going to run a 4.440. Okay, I'm never going to be an Olympic pole vaulter. But writing is a skill. Okay, and it is a skill you can learn. And one of the things I like to talk about when I'm telling people how do you learn to do something you've never done before, right? How the way do you do that? I call it the OEI loop. Okay? Observation, emulation, innovation. Okay? In other words, observation. Suppose that you want to be well, let's just say you want to be a blogger. Okay? What are bloggers doing? You study what they're doing. You observe what they're doing, okay? Then you try to emulate what they're doing, to try to do what they're doing and emulate that, okay? And to imitate it, monkey see, monkey do. And then at some point, you innovate. That is to say that you bring to whatever it is you're learning to do your own unique perspective, your own knowledge, your own skills. And at that point, you're doing something different. It may be same in some ways as what other people are doing, but you're trying to move it forward and to do something different than other people are doing. And so I believe that everyone can do it. But it takes determination and it takes patience, okay? If you want to do it, you're going to get in there, and you can ask Jimmy about this. I'm sure he's going to sing you the blues here in a minute. He's got the hat for it, after all. But you're going to get out there, and you're going to have what I call the 0 hour. That is to say, you're going to be out there, and you have on your blog, you have a site meter, something that measures the traffic, okay? And you're going to write something that is so brilliant, and you're going to put it out there, and you're going to email it around, and you're going to post it to Facebook, you're going to send it out by Twitter, you're going to, do whatever you have to do to promote it. And then you're going to think, oh man, this one's going to kill. And then you will check your hourly visitors, and it will be 0. And at that point, you want to stick your head in the oven and put a bullet through your brain. And you have to get through that. You have to just keep plugging away. Rome wasn't built in a day. And if what you're doing, in new media is not working, do something different. The internet is not yet a fully developed thing. When I started blogging, no one had ever heard of Twitter. And so it builds and it grows and it becomes different. Trial and error is the way you learn, and most of the time you're going to do some errors. So I'm told that I've exceeded my 5 minutes. And so thank you very much, and we'll be taking questions after Jimmy tells you everything.